Hey, Nerf Herders, I'm Addy Thomas.
I'm Ben Milton.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of Certain Point of View. Today we've got plenty of news, some relating to, well, I guess, developments within the Justice League movie. We've got some other news, but we've also got what's happened in this past week of TV in superhero TV episodes, the ones that we've gotten a chance to watch. All of those are going to be on today's episode. Before we get to any of that, though, be sure to check out our website because we have all of our podcasts there and all of our social media there if you want to get in touch with us. Again, all of that is on our website, certainpov.com. All right, let's get started. So Marvel's been teasing the return of Wolverine, who died in 2014, ever since it kicked off its Legacy reboot a few months ago. But now that the character's return is imminent, the company plans on going into overdrive with a newly announced initiative that will see teasers that are being dubbed post-credit scenes inserted into the pages of Captain America number 697, The Mighty Thor number 703, and Amazing Spider-Man number 794 next January. So what do you think? This is sort of a slightly different format thing to do, post-credit. It's weird calling it a post-credit scene.
Yeah, I think they're trying to, just buy into synergy and buy into the goodwill of everybody loves that in the movies. Yeah. So we'll just call it the same thing instead of just having like
epilogue.
There's an appearance in episode 697 of Cap.
Right.
That's all this. Like they've done this before. They just called it something different.
Right.
This is basically an event, and so they're making a big event, and so events are designed to drive up sales of all the different brands.
It's not just an appearance. Like I saw the content of one of these. It does look like it is separate from the issue, so it is very much in the formatting of
the extra post-credit scene. All right, well, that's fine. Either way, it's still the same concept of we want to drive sales, which is great, and that's awesome. More power to them. I mean, if they don't make money, we don't get content. So great.
I'm okay with a promo here.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
So Justice League's MoustacheGate is one of the biggest headlines, swirling out of the DCEU's latest entry. Apparently, Warner Brothers have offered to pay to have facial hair added to the actor's face via CGI when he returned to shoot Mission Impossible 6, but Paramount Pictures declined despite Justice League's VFX team sending over some samples.
Paramount, this is the most petty bullshit thing Paramount could have possibly... it would have cost them $19 to strap like a fake mustache on this guy.
Or them willing to pay for the CGI.
This is crazy. This is
CGI
just the ultimate...
mustache would have been fine.
This is the ultimate crazy fuck you from Paramount. And I don't know why they did it. I don't know what exec had his fingers in this, but to do this, because it looked horrible. And the fact that everybody knew that it was horrible going in, it was such a distraction in the movie where like every time he was on screen, you're like, I wonder if, that's the fake must. Yep, that's the fake. Yeah, face.
You could tell the ones that were fake and the ones that were shot with Zack Snyder.
I mean, it was, I mean, that's a really difficult area of the face still to digitally create. Yeah. So like that was the part like with Tolkien. Yeah. That I noticed, like the first time I saw Rogue One, I was like, wow, that mouth. Tarkin. I'm sorry. Yeah. That mouth looks really, really bad. And then like the second time I saw it, I was like, let me just look at his eyes. And I was like, oh yeah, if you just look at the eyes, things look great.
Yeah.
But you look at that mouth.
That didn't apply though to this one.
No,
because this one, his whole face looked weird.
Yeah, it was like, who hit him in the face with a bat? Is he allergic to bees?
Did he just get his wisdom teeth taken out?
Yeah. So there's somebody over at Paramount who's just giggling, just shits and giggles over this, but it was a dick move.
So the developers responsible for Batman Arkham Origins are currently looking to expand the DC Universe with a new title and character, but no word yet on which character. Well, what character do you think you'd kind of like to see in that sort of Arkham, Asylum gameplay style? Like what?
Automatopoeia.
Okay.
I think it would be an interesting. Who else haven't they done? They've done everybody.
No, they haven't.
Who haven't they done? Who's left?
Name anybody other than Batman.
In the Arkham games?
Yeah. You haven't played as anybody other than Batman.
Oh, you can play as them.
Oh, yes. So, sorry. Oh. So they're expanding out the DC Universe with, so when I say new title and new character, so it's like, I guess we'll get Wonder Woman Themyscira origins. I don't know, or we'll get Green Lantern.
You'll play as that hero.
Yeah, and they
gotcha.
And they recently they just released. I don't know if they just released or about to release.
Like you're digging pretty deep into like the bin of villains for Batman to beat up. Like who's left?
Yeah, I mean there are like 5 or 6 games at this point.
Yeah.
No, but the idea is expanding the universe.
Oh, it's going to be Wonder Woman.
Yeah, Wonder Woman seems like the obvious choice.
It's the only thing working in that universe.
Well, forget the movies, but like what experience what characters do you think would be kind of cool to do with that? The
Wonder Woman's cool.
The footage for the Spider-Man game with the same developers looks really cool.
Yeah.
And it was sort of unexpected. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if Green Lantern lends itself to it because you want the sort of the imagination of what you can do with the construct. So if it's a little too repetitive, like that'll start.
Like, look, I got a hammer.
Yeah.
Baseball bat again. Baseball bat.
Yeah.
Lantern for that reason is a really difficult gameplay to create until we can do really good VR.
Wonder Woman makes sense.
Wonder Woman makes the most sense. Like that's the most obvious choice. Flash would be okay. Cyborg, I could see Cyborg.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot that you can do with that character, like, and the fact that he can change his body or into different things and hack into computer systems, which is a big part of the Arkham experience. There's a lot of detective work.
Right.
But I guess you could do a lot of detective work with Barry Allen and his CSI background.
Yeah, and I think there's cool gameplay to have with the Speedster.
But I think that gets really repetitive quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fast.
Well, I don't mean it just being fast. Like, you've seen him sort of in a slowed down version of things.
Yeah, he's fast.
Kind of the way that even Batman does in those Arkham games.
Yeah, it slows down to give you bullet time. You're gonna get that from I think any of those heroes because you get that with Wonder Woman too.
That's true. So the final Thanksgiving totals are in, and Justice League made about $40.7 million over the course of its second weekend of domestic release, and this marks a drop of about 57%, which means it's doing better than Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, and Suicide Squad, but not quite as well as Wonder Woman, which only fell 43% in its second weekend. Justice League, though, is doing better internationally. The Zack Snyder-helmed superhero film raked in about $72 million in 66 markets, which brings its global total to just over $481 million, which is not bad, but certainly not what Warner Brothers was hoping for.
No. This is bad news, right? Like, this is not what they want. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I think everybody kind of went into this movie going, yeah, this is probably not going to be our best effort. Like, you got 2 different directors.
Yeah.
You've gone from 2 movies to 1 movie. So if you remember correctly, Justice League was originally supposed to be a 2-parter.
Right.
You chopped it and then all of a sudden one day they were like, no, it's just 1 movie.
Right.
And you were like, wait, what? You said 2.
Right.
So now, I think probably everybody at Warner Brothers is like, well, like this is part of righting the ship. Like, we got it right with Wonder Woman. Let's not forget that.
Yes.
We still had Zach lead. As soon as they finished BVS, they started shooting this movie.
Right.
Like, there was no time to course correct this movie like they did with Wonder Woman.
Right.
They had a chance to just like get all the input from BVS for Wonder Woman and then fix it and make it what they wanted. They didn't have that with this movie, and it showed. Like,
an entirely different director.
They did the best they polished that turd as shiny as they could.
Yeah.
But I think at the end of the day, Warner Brothers knew it was still a turd.
Yeah, but it's still. Let's also remember, though. I think yes, it's not doing as well, and there's some attrition because of Suicide Squad, Batman vs Superman, and all of that. So there was obviously a lot less excitement going into this, but it is performing better than all but one of their movies. So I don't know if this is necessarily the worst thing that's happening. I mean, Suicide Squad was still made enough money. They knew critically it had issues.
How much has it made? 400 and some?
481.
How much did it cost them?
That's where the issue is. But again, like, how long of a run are they going to get? So,
well, if it's already dropped over almost 60% the second week, it's not going to get a long run.
Again, like, they just need to have a long enough run to get up to Star Wars at this point. And then internationally, they also can
no, they need to have a long enough run where they at least break even.
Right.
And I don't know that they will. How much did it cost to make this movie?
That's a good question.
Time, EJ Mike. Time me.
All right, so we're looking at like Warner Brothers was spent around $600 million for production, marketing, and sort of the all around cost.
So they're still down $200 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's.
You don't think they could do that in the next like 3 or 4 weeks?
$200 million more. Let's see.
I think they're going to break even. They're not going to
be close.
Yeah,
I think it'll be close, and it's going to be because of overseas that they break even.
Right.
Now
there's not a whole lot of competition though, even in the domestic market.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. People aren't going to go see it again. Like people, when you have a drop off of 60% your second week,
right? That
means your audience didn't like it. Word of mouth is it's not great.
Right.
And you're not gonna get a lot of run on this movie. You can leave it in theaters as long as you want. That doesn't mean people are gonna go see it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think they'll break even. I think they'll definitely break even though. I think there's enough time for them to do that. I think there isn't the greatest reviews, but it's mixed reviews at best, I'd say. So
it has things going for it. It's not the worst film I've ever seen by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
But it's not worth seeing a second time. It was just what you need.
Well, we'll get to the Justice League review in another episode.
Yeah, but that's what you need in order to make this a profitable movie.
Yeah,
you need people going to see multiple times, and this isn't that movie.
Well, yeah, it's not massively rewatchable. Well, like for most people, we're not getting a movie that people consider rewatchable. But we'll I think again, like I said, I think they'll break even.
We'll see.
So, Avatar 2 and its horde of sequels have been slow in production due to unique location issues. James Cameron recently spoke with Collider about shooting Avatar 2, which will predominantly take place underwater, and talks about how they've handled the difficulties that come with that. It's apparently been why they've been so slow in producing it. He said, "It's never been done before, and it's very tricky because our motion capture system, like most motion capture systems, is what they call optical base, meaning that it uses markers that are photographed with hundreds of cameras. Problem with water is not the underwater part, but the interface between the air and the water, which forms a moving mirror. So that moving mirror reflects all the dots and markers, and it creates a bunch of false markers. So we've had to figure out ways to get around that problem, which we did. Basically, whenever you add water to any problem, it just gets 10 times harder. So we've had to throw in a lot of horsepower, innovation, imagination, and new tech at the problem, and it's taken us about 1.5 years now to work out how we're going to do it." Cameron then went on to talk about the first successful test run, which he did about 2 weeks ago, and how the actors are adapting to this new method. He said, "We've done a tremendous amount of testing, and we did it successfully for the first time. We actually played an entire scene underwater with our young cast. We've got 6 teenagers and 1 7-year-old, and they're all playing a scene underwater. We've been training them for 6 months now with how to hold their breath, and they're all up in the 2 to 4 minute range. They're all perfectly capable of acting underwater very calmly while holding their breath. We're not doing any of this on scuba, and we're getting really good data, beautiful character motion, and great facial performance capture. And we've basically cracked the code." So there's why we've had the delay of Avatar, 2 through 37 right now, which I guess are in production.
The best thing that they could do is not make these movies. The second good thing that's coming out, the only good thing that's coming out of this is they may be able to use some of this for Aquaman.
Well, they've already done Aquaman.
Oh, it's done?
They've
shot it?
That's been shot
Oh,
already.
well, forget it then. I have no interest in seeing this. Don't bother making Avatar.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm on that train. Trust me, I do not like Avatar at all. But I am kind of a little bit piqued sort of at this, like the tech and the process that Cameron is sort of developing. Not that, like, underwater is the most compelling, storytelling location in a lot of movies, but I like, just from, well, one thing that was interesting when we're following the production of the Star Wars prequels and the Lord of the Rings movies and even the Hobbit movies was how some of that tech development was going on, some of the software development, some of the the leaps in other, in motion capture technology and all of that. So I'm not one bit interested in the story for this movie, But I am kind of interested a little bit more in seeing what
you just want to see the behind the scenes features.
Yeah, for this. I think there's a little bit of interest there. So
okay,
yeah, this is the first time I've had anything positive to say about Avatar, so I thought it was notable.
You stretched, and you know, that was a yoga stretch.
Yeah,
they should call that like the lying Addy. but well done.
All right, let's go ahead and get into this past week in TV. So we had The Gifted. We had another episode of The Gifted.
Great.
Yeah.
Great episode.
What are your thoughts?
I love that episode. This show just keeps getting better and better and better. Here's my only complaint about this episode.
Sure.
Is last week we were just like saying like how wonderful the show was because it didn't have any of like the super powered, really overpowering mutants in it. In which they just introduced the twins as being like this huge superpower mutant tandem. So like,
I think that was more your
that was the thing that I liked about it because I was like, I don't want like if you're gonna bring in an X-Men, bring in Jubilee and then and keep it like it felt very grounded, felt very like okay, like we're really struggling to survive here day by day, and now you just introduced a world-ending game changer ability.
Yeah, well, would you say world ending?
Not world ending, but like
it's not quite Phoenix level. I guess that's the thing.
It feels like it's going that direction.
You think so?
It really, I mean, they were like those clippings were like it blew up a whole city block, and and it's like, all right, well, I guess that's the end of this war. Like, oh well. But other than that, like I mean, that's a really like we'll have to see how they actually play it and what the power structure does. We don't really know.
Yeah,
but
the way
the way they've hinted at it thus far has like I was kind of bummed about at the end. I was just like, oh man, like I kind of liked it being a little rougher, a little simpler.
What I did like though was sort of turning the story with how they handled the father because it was very easy to go down a certain road with that. It was a nice, they've done a good job with the types of reveals they've done on this show. They haven't done every episode we've got a new reveal or at every commercial break we have a new reveal. So they've done a good job with revealing that he's a mutant. And sort of his
that was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah,
I did not see that coming.
I didn't either, and I was happy with that. And then sort of like that very complex way that he dealt with being a mutant and how he dealt with his with his son and how it affected their relationship and all of that was really sort of an interesting
twist.
Yeah, it was a really interesting twist, and it all without just being a plot jump. It was character. Inducing types of twists. And and I think that I really appreciate.
Do you think Papa Strucker stays good guy? Or you think he turns at some point?
I think he stays a good guy. I'm not seeing a turn yet. I think he may do a few things that the mutants may not fully appreciate still. Like they'll have mixed feelings about, like the mutants will be divided about it. But I don't think he'll do anything out and out against them. But I think that's because he's still sort of processing some of his world being turned upside down. I think his wife is already kind of, for the most part, has come to terms with it. There is a little bit of a divide, but I think they've already bridged that. Especially this last episode, they bridged that divide a whole lot more. With her and the rest of the group there. So, but there's still reasons to not. I don't think there's any reason not to totally trust him, but I think he's still got to work out some stuff.
I think where they're taking it is his dad, crushed his X gene because his dad was so fearful of his parents' powers, which his kids now have.
Right.
And I think that he'll
carry that fear with him.
Yeah, and
we'll go forward. I thought about it. I don't know if I'm necessarily.
That's such an X-Men story, man.
It is.
That is such an X-Men story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be. It wouldn't totally surprise me if they did it, but I kind of feel his character has come to a different place already. In terms of coping with who his kids are, and
until he sees what they do, like when he sees the raw power that they have, I can see him saying, "No, we need to," getting duped into no, we need to study them and help them mute their powers and control their powers.
You think he'll go that far with it?
Mm-hmm.
I think, I don't know if I go that far. It'd be interesting though. It's not like there is room for them to do that with him.
Yeah.
I totally agree. I just don't know if I imagine that they'll do that.
They may not. Yeah. They may not.
So let's go ahead and round up the CW DC shows. I feel like I should have reviewed some of what happened because I watched it. It feels like 2 weeks ago.
Let me do. All right. I'll do it in reverse of how I watched it. I watched Legends of Tomorrow.
Okay.
And that was with Gorilla Grodd in Vietnam.
Yeah. It was an all right episode. It was a little bit of a letdown. Yeah. But it was sort of. I'll say the one thing I really enjoyed with this episode was the guy who played Mick's dad.
Yeah.
Was just doing a really bad impression. Yeah, really bad impression of Mick. It was just like it stood out so badly. It was
so awful. It was dreadful. Oh, it was like Superman's mustache. It was just.
It wasn't that bad.
You couldn't look away from it. You're just like, oh, just. What? Okay, we're going for it.
Well, yeah, we'll go with it.
All right.
I thought that was outside of that though, it was
a fairly forgettable episode.
It wasn't one of their best. They've had better, especially in this past season. They have.
It's interesting, like see Damien Dark in the background behind all this stuff.
Yes,
like that's
he's
fascinating.
Adding a lot to it right
now. That final scene between him and Grodd was like, oh wow, like let's see where this goes. This could be entertaining.
Well, it's fun because they have a good team dynamic with Legends of Tomorrow. They're able to develop also a good team dynamic with the villains.
Yeah,
because that was what was so fun last season was they had Eobard Thawne, Reverse Flash, then Malcolm Merlyn, and they had Damien Dark. And I mean, Damien Dark again, like, was so wasted on that season of Arrow. I guess what was it, season 4?
Yeah.
And like he has the charisma, but having him play off those other two and them backbiting and like it was all sorts of fun. You know, and having him, I'm glad they resurrected him.
It's great.
Like, it's rare that like resurrecting a character is one of those things that I'm like, oh yeah.
You usually go, oh shit.
Yeah,
all
but
right.
I'm fine with them resurrecting some of these villains. So now they'll probably pull the taffy a bit too far if he comes back again after this.
Yeah,
but you know,
well, if they don't kill him, if they just lock him up somewhere. Or
well, it's also they also have the excuse because they're traveling in different parts of time. So there's a different version of him that's still alive at another point
different
in time.
point, yeah.
Right. So they've got that going for them. Supergirl, we had a little bit more development in the new villain, Rain. And they also so she's another Kryptonian who was sent because apparently everybody got a chance to send Kryptonians to Earth. You know, I don't know who actually died on Krypton at this point.
Nobody did.
Yeah. But she's got some weird mind control thing where she is gonna become something that destroys the world. Yeah, it's.
I don't know. See, I don't understand how Kryptonians get different powers based upon.
Well, she doesn't have different powers. She has the same power set, but there was something programmed into her when she was sent off because I think she was like it was at some temple of some like evil god on Krypton. So they kind of like the priestesses, I guess, programmed her a little bit differently.
Did a little brainwashing.
Yeah.
Kind of program.
And now it's just kicking in. She has a kid and everything, and she's like not sure if she has powers, and she just kind of found out she is Kryptonian and all of that, and then it's suddenly kicking in, and she's now like, destroy the world, la la. But Supergirl doesn't know about it.
She hasn't lifted a bus off of anybody previously.
There've been
because
like a couple
Clark
moments,
did that when he was 5.
Right. Well, there've been a couple moments where she like is suddenly like pulls like a pole off of someone or something like that.
But she was just like, oh well,
mom strength is what they excuse it with.
I've been working out. I've been doing some Pilates.
Well, she's always been freaked out by those moments, but she's always hidden it because she isn't sure of what's going on and she isn't trying to attract attention. Whatever. Yeah. Again, it's not a great story. That was the better story in this episode. Actually, no, that wasn't the best story in this episode. They actually did have a little bit more fun with Martian Manhunter and his dad because his dad's been a prisoner for years, and Martian Manhunter is like work obsessed, so he's like always in this sort of like cold base, and his dad is just kind of sitting there, so like they have like a little bit of bonding with him, like just going out on outside into the world and having a little bit of a life. And it's great because the guy playing his dad again is the guy who voiced Martian Manhunter in the Justice League animated series, so it totally works. The thing that annoyed me is they brought back what's his face? The love interest from last season, who was like the worst part about last season. So they brought him back apparently from the future. So yeah, This was not a great episode.
Yeah.
The Flash.
It was the Thinker. We got the backstory for the Thinker.
I like this episode.
I did too. I thought it was a great backstory. He's a really interesting villain.
Very different villain.
Love about this villain is not only is he not a speedster, but he can't even fucking walk.
Right.
Like, that's the best. Like, they finally have gotten past that, like, well, he's just another fast guy he's got to fight. And he's really good. Yeah. He's really good. His
so are we going to get
really
like
fun.
Harrison Wells telling Barry to think, Barry, think?
Think, Barry, think. I love this version of Wells, by the way. Like, he is so much fun.
Yeah. Last season's Wells was fun. He was the one who was like a romance novel writer. He wasn't even a scientist. He was just so out of the box. Sometimes he came up with like most of the time he came up with terrible ideas, but every now and then he had a great idea.
Yeah, this season I'm really enjoying this Wells. Other than that, like it was really all about the Thinker and like the reveal of who the Thinker is.
Yeah,
and it was good. It was really well done. I liked the flashbacks and seeing going back to the explosion and the accident that caused everything, and seeing
the original particle accelerator explosion. Yeah,
and seeing that again was fun. Like there was little details that I forgot, that the guy stole Iris's laptop and stuff like that. And I was like, oh yeah, I remember that. So it was like a nice little walk down memory lane and a good reveal of who this guy is. Yeah, and I like the pairing between husband and wife. Of like he's super genius and she's this mechanical engineer genius, and how they're helping each other. And I thought it was a little ridiculous that Barry put it together. And here's what I did like is that DC on their shows will say, I just got my spidey sense tingling.
Yes.
Marvel would never acknowledge anything from DC.
That's not true.
When
they've done all sorts of Batman nods.
Have they?
Oh yeah, there's even like a Deadpool like whole parody of him.
Well, Deadpool doesn't count.
You can't say that.
Deadpool's so
referential.
Yeah. Like that is Deadpool. But like
they've made Batman references in Daredevil and all sorts of other.
When they've talked about Bruce Wayne or talked about Batman.
Yeah, like that'd be as crazy as dressing up as a bat or something like that.
Yeah, but not Spidey sense.
Oh come on. I think you're taking the Marvel versus DC rivalry a little too seriously now.
I don't think that they would say that. I don't think I remember a time where they were that they've ever been like. Yes, that'd be as crazy as dressing as a bat is an obvious reference.
Yeah,
but it's not a direct call. Not
a direct call.
All right, whatever. I'm not going to argue with you about this. I'm not going to argue with you about this.
It's a reference.
I'm not going to argue with you about this, Addy.
Okay. All right. It's just a weird line, I think. That's all.
Okay.
Then we got Arrow. So Arrow's took a little bit more of a turn. We had Diggle's character kind of reveal that he's been having the nerve damage issues. Oliver found out. Oliver had to suit up again for a mission. And yeah, they just continued to. This was a decent episode. It wasn't a great episode. One thing I did enjoy is they've brought back dude who played Ben Linus. Michael Emerson, his villain is back, and he's a hacker, like a super hacker type of dude. So and he's proving to be a pretty good villain for them when he does show up this season. He's sort of in and out from time to time. Just a dark version of his character from Person of Interest, pretty much.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I'm enjoying that. When Michael Emerson shows up, I definitely
he's such a fun
that.
actor.
Yeah. So, but not the strongest. I guess Flash was the best this week.
Seems like it. Yeah.
And so let's move over to The Walking Dead.
I did not watch.
Oh, you didn't?
I was on my way back. I got home super late last night.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that makes sense.
From New York.
So
yeah.
So we'll recap that one. This was a bit of a filler episode. A lot of setup for other stuff. So we'll talk about that next week.
We'll do a 2-parter next week.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
So and then did you watch all 3 episodes of Runaways?
I did.
So
the first 3 episodes are good.
Yeah.
There's a lot of setup and a lot of world building and a lot of character development, which I like.
Yeah.
I think that's a good move. Like you don't have to wow me. You don't have to put it all out right away.
Right.
Tease me a little bit. Give me something to look forward to for the next week and throughout the season, which is fine. My only problem with the show is that I don't like any of the characters.
Yeah.
There's not one character that I'm interested in. And there's a couple characters that I outright dislike.
Yeah.
That I'm just like, I don't want to see them.
Oh, really?
Like, it was just like,
who in particular?
The social justice warrior, I find the girl with the whatever her name. I don't even know what their names are.
Yeah. Gertie.
Gertie, yes. Yeah. I find her so stereotypical.
Yeah.
To the point of unbelief.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I think, though, they kind of mock that, not her being a social justice warrior, well, a little bit of that, but that it is sort of a facade for other things she's dealing with. Did you get that impression? I don't know.
I got that they were trying to do that.
Oh, really? Okay.
I don't think that for all of them.
Yeah.
Like
everyone has facades.
Yeah, it's real. It's real. Paint by numbers high school drama.
Yeah.
Like, this is the jock and he's stupid.
Right.
And this is the smart girl. And this is the, and this is the pretty one. Like, it's I don't know. I don't like any of the characters yet.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I'm done with the show. I think it's awful. It's not awful. It's clearly geared to a younger audience, right. Which, probably the paint by.
Do you think it's geared to a younger audience?
I think it's definitely geared to teenagers.
See, I guess so, but I guess I feel the same is true of most of the superhero shows that we watch as well.
I feel like 20 somethings.
Yeah.
This one feels like 15 to 18 is like their target demo.
So it's the same showrunners as the OC is what I know. I never watched the OC.
I didn't either.
So
but like, if you like, it's it's a high school drama TV show set with mutant powers.
Yeah,
and we haven't really.
It can't be mutant
whatever.
Yeah, technically, it's not mutants. Yeah, right. I know.
And we haven't really seen much of mutant powers. We've seen a dinosaur and we've seen a girl with strength.
Right.
And we've seen a magic stick.
I guess it won't spoil anything.
Yeah.
If you are familiar with the comics or not. So if you do, you do know kind of what
everybody, where everything's going. Yeah. But it's not,
we saw the staff, the magic staff.
Yeah, that's what I said, the magic stick.
Oh, there was that. I thought you meant the glow stick girl. When you said that.
And we've seen her too. That's right. It's not.
I thought. I was excited to see Old Lace. The dinosaur Old Lace. I thought it looked pretty cool, especially
it did look
for
cool.
TV.
Yeah.
Slow burn, which has never been a reason for me not to be interested in a show. I do agree with you that I'm not particularly endeared to any characters, but I am very invested in the plot for all the characters, to be honest. Like, I like the idea of this supervillain group that they don't really want to work together, but they're still sort of family, and that's kind of carried over to the kids. And I'm interested, and I guess because I know the concept for the Runaways and sort of the major characters, like I am a little bit more interested. The church cult, the Scientology cult, seems it kind of has me interested. I'm interested in seeing who the guy they're trying to resurrect is. So the plot definitely has me at this point. I am interested. I do find a lot of the parents a little bit more interesting, though, because I do find it entertaining how different each of these parents are from each other, and it is very unusual to see sort of the domestic life for a supervillain. Yeah. So I do find that sort of fascinating, because you sort of have the affair is like kind of whatever, but I did think that was sort of an interesting dynamic between those two couples. You have the the African American couple who's, you know, trying to be a leader in the community, and then like the moments where like because the mom is like such a bitch,
super bitch,
but when she has that sort of moment of tenderness with Molly, who is the one who's orphaned of you know, from their group, of their friends and everything, I thought that was sort of an interesting, like, unexpected moment. So there are a lot of scattered moments here and there that have kind of got me as far as character, but it hasn't been. It is a decent character show, but it hasn't been. The character moments haven't grabbed me yet, except for a few moments here and there.
Right.
It's definitely plot heavy. So,
which is fine. I mean,
yeah, but I do hope that it did feel like these 3 episodes were, especially because, so structurally this series is going with these 3 episodes were released outright, so it's almost like a movie to kick off the series, and then we're going to get an episode every Tuesday. So structurally it kind of feels like this was an establishing movie, and then let's see how they do the week.
See what the actual show really goes.
Yes, I think I think in a lot of ways. Yes, you're right. You know, it's I know you haven't like judged out a judgment of the show or anything, but it does feel like these 3 episodes are going to be a little bit different from what we may see week to week.
I hope so.
Is the impression I
hope so.
So,
because it didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah. That being said, I mean, I'm on board for at least a season. If I'm not,
see what happens.
Yeah, if I'm not totally into it by the end of the season, then we'll see what I decide to do. But I gave Inhumans a season, so
I'll sit through anything.
I gave Inhumans and Gotham a season. Runaways, you've got at least a season,
maybe 2.
Yeah.
How bad can you be?
So upcoming, we have got the CW DCU crossover event. It actually starts tonight when we're recording. Crisis on Earth X starts with Supergirl. I believe it's supposed to be a 2-night event, so I guess that means Arrow isn't technically this week's episode of Arrow won't be a part of that. I'm not sure how that's going to work out. Then on the 1st, really excited for this, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is returning.
Woo!
They released the first 17 minutes online already.
I haven't seen it.
I watched the first 17 minutes, so I'm really, really excited.
Pumped.
Yeah, and this wasn't like a leak or anything. This was like an official promo and everything. But it's enough without really explaining anything major, but it still got you kind of, you know, teased big time.
Get you back up to speed of what's happening and establish the new world.
Yeah. Well, not even establish the new world. It's just like hinting at establishing the new world. You know, I mean, you know they're out in space and you know there's an alien. So, like everything you've seen in the trailer.
Okay, gotcha.
You know, and then, so those are our big things coming up in the next week. So be sure to check that out. Let us know what you thought about the past shows that we talked about this week. Of course, like we said, we will get back around to The Walking Dead next week as they are sort of getting into the final arc for this half of the season. And let us know what you think about any of those news stories that are also that we talked about today. All of that you can check out on our website, certainpov.com. Again, all of that is on our website, certainpov.com. And until next time, stay scruffy, my nerf herders.